Hey y'all, welcome back to Never Bored with George. I'm your host George. I'm doing my co-host here,
Jason.
And today we'll be continuing our series Never Bored with MMA as we give you our predictions for UFC 268. Guys, Dana White did every UFC fan a huge favor by giving us some of the best fights we can on this card. And today we're going to give you our predictions for the last 3 fights on the main card. It's going to be Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler, the rematch of Rose Namajunas versus Zhang Weili, as well as the rematch with Colby Covington versus Kamal Russman. Jason, bro, we eating good, bro. We eating good. Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. So, Jason, bro, if you want to take it away.
Let's go, man. Okay, so yeah, first fight, like he said, Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler. It's going to be a huge fight. I've already seen Michael Chandler fight twice this year. Both of those fights were very dominant performances by him, except the second fight. We've seen him fight. He fought Dan Hooker as his first fight in the UFC, which was a very dominant performance by him. Didn't expect that from him. I expected Dan. I remember we watched that fight.
We saw like Dan Hooker just come off the fight against Dustin Poirier. One of the greatest fights we've ever seen.
Exactly.
A blood war match. And then for Michael Chandler to come in to his debut fight in the UFC, take down one of the best guys in the lightweight division. It was insane, bro. Basically gave him all the momentum he needed to get to the title fight as Khabib is leaving the division. He basically got the right time at the right place in the perfect storm and was able to then catapult himself for the title fight. I want to bring up a point too, like even though we've seen him most in the UFC, granted 2 stellar performances, he's Bellator royalty.
Exactly.
Getting championships. Like let's highlight some of the great things about Michael Chandler. Explosive power, explosive ground and pound, very good skilled wrestling, but also especially his striking too, because he can ground and pound. He do the traditional method, very similar style to Khabib, or he could also just give you a hard time with the striking and that explosive power that comes out of nowhere. Really, I mean, Dan Hooker is an example of that, and even Charles Oliveira at the end of round 1 of their fight for that belt.
Yeah, exactly.
It looked like Michael Chandler was about to be the champ of the lightweight division had not Charles Oliveira pulled himself up and give a stellar second round turnaround performance.
He's been dominant in Bellator. He started dominant in the UFC. I'm just excited to see what's going to happen with this fight. And then next to go into Justin Gaethje. He's a dominant fighter. He is the top. He's the number 1 fighter right now for a reason in the lightweight division under Dustin Poirier.
Exactly.
So the reason for that is because he literally,
he's the human highlight.
He is the human highlight. We call him the highlight for a reason. After his fight with Tony Ferguson?
Yeah, bro.
My respect just went high deep. Like not high deep. Went to the heavens with that shit. I was like, Justin Gaethje is the most insane fighter that we've seen ever in the lightweight division. And he fought against, his last fight was against Khabib, which in himself is his own, he's in his own division.
Right. Khabib is his own league of fighter. We've already established that.
Exactly.
Which is why he's that perfect 29-0. But the fact of the matter is that just only shows the greatness of Justin Gaethje, to where he was one of the few fighters that actually had a plan going against Khabib. It was really those leg kicks, and I think we can kind of get into what makes Justin Gaethje amazing. Let's start with just from his wrestling pedigree. He's an All-American certified badass.
Yes.
So if it comes to taking you down to the ground, he can do it. But this is why Justin Gaethje is such an enigma in the division. Because when most people have such a high wrestling background like that, they usually stick to that level of wrestling. Justin Gaethje is a whole different breed, and the reason why he's a fan favorite because he gonna throw hands, bro.
For sure.
This man's literally has freaking missiles for his hands because he's just out shooting. He's a dominant striker as well. And talking about a more well-rounded, exciting fighter, you can't get any better than Justin Gaethje. He can chop you down with the leg kicks to get your footing off. He'll outstrike you, and I mean, a lot of his fights he doesn't even go to use wrestling because he's just too busy. He's just busy cutting off angles, punching you in the face, and just giving you a hard time all around. You already know it's a problem when even Tony Ferguson, a fight with Tony Ferguson gets stopped early.
Exactly.
The level of grappling skill that Justin Gaethje has, if he doesn't need to strike you, he can grapple you. Oh my goodness, man. He's also the most extremely durable fighter. If there's a fighter that's made out of vibranium, it's probably Justin Gaethje, bro.
I've heard him say so many times, when I go in that cage, I want to die in there. That's his mentality going to these, into the cage. He's ready to, he's putting all on the line.
Right.
So like he's gonna be dominant every time he's fought. He's always dominant. Justin Gaethje's first fight in the UFC.
Michael Johnson.
Yeah. When he fought him, I remember during the press conferences, he was like, "Yeah, I'm ready to die," and he was like, "Yeah, take me to the shithole," or they were talking about shit or something. I just remember that, and just to hear stuff like that, you're just like, dude, this guy's about to be he's a dominant performer.
You can't get any better in the UFC in terms of entertainment, excitement, skill, and just bringing that energy that is Justin Gaethje.
Exactly.
But Jason, I think it's time for predictions, bro. I mean, this is a tough one because both are human highlights in their own right.
I know.
If you watch Michael Chandler's Bellator days, you know that he's full of knockouts, power, grappling, ground and pound.
Yep.
He's got it all just as much as Justin Gaethje. So, I don't know, man. We got a tough one to predict, but Jason, I'll let you go first. Give me a prediction on why.
So I'm gonna kind of just say like what. I know, dude. I'm so excited. But I'm gonna kind of like give like a basis of what I think each person does what they need to do to win. But and then I'll give you like who I think is gonna win. I feel like standing up, man. I've seen Justin Gaethje do some crazy shit. So if Justin Gaethje's gonna win, he just needs to do his stand up and do what he's good at. And I know Justin Gaethje's an amazing wrestler, but I've seen even in Bellator, like you mentioned, he's done. Michael Chandler has done a lot of wrestling in his game in the Bellator when he was in Bellator. So I think really standing up, I don't know if Michael Chandler can really stand up to the amount of punches that Justin Gaethje will throw and the kicks.
You're right. The volume of Justin Gaethje is something else. Yeah.
And just even we saw like when Michael Chandler was fighting Charles Oliveira, second round. I mean, first round he did good, but second round he got caught. If we're talking about Charles Oliveira being able to do that, what do you think Justin Gaethje's gonna do? So there's always that fear there too. So I think if Michael Chandler wants to try to win this fight, this is my opinion, of course. I think he needs to do more wrestling to just kind of get more. He's a little bit stockier than Justin Gaethje, right?
I think his frame's a bit wider.
A little bit more wider, right? So if he gets a takedown, if he's has top control a lot, I feel like he can be a little bit more dominant. But now to the prediction. Oh man. Just after everything I've mentioned so far, man, I'm gonna go Justin Gaethje on this fight.
Okay.
He's the highlight for a reason. We're about to see another highlight by Justin Gaethje. And if we want to make a little round prediction too, I'm gonna say this is a 5-round fight, right?
Yeah.
It's 3 rounds.
It's three
round fight. Yeah. So since it's a 3-round fight, I'm gonna say a second round TKO.
Okay.
So from Justin Gaethje, that's what I'm expecting for this fight, man.
Jason, you got a good prediction there, son. Yeah, man. I guess I'll go with my thoughts on that, bro. I agree with pretty much everything you said, bro. Justin Gaethje's got the volume, the durability on his side. I'm gonna go off your point with Michael Chandler about the wrestling because there's a strategy in the UFC that we see where as long as you can threaten the takedown, you give your opponent something to worry about. Justin Gaethje's usually not threatened by most people's wrestling, but I would think he would take Michael Chandler's ground game a bit more seriously.
Yeah.
So here's the opportunity where I think Michael Chandler can actually get a chance to beat Justin Gaethje. If Michael Chandler does beat Justin Gaethje, it's in round 3. A couple of attempts, if not successes, in taking him down. So that way, because Justin Gaethje, it's not about getting Justin Gaethje to the ground, it's keeping him on the ground. I don't think he would keep on the ground, but if you're able to get takedowns and slowly chip the morale of Justin Gaethje's side, I think Michael Chandler could. This isn't my prediction yet, but I think he could catch Justin Gaethje round 3 with a sort of a feint of a takedown, but with an overhand right or left.
Okay, he's done a lot of that
because Justin Gaethje kind of keeps his hands lower as the fight goes on. Granted, his tiredness or his confidence goes up.
Right.
I mean, most great strikers don't. I mean, when you get to a point in striking, you can keep your hands down just to pop the jab every once in a while.
Right.
But yeah, I think that would be really crucial for Michael Chandler. But for Justin Gaethje, honestly, his volume is already on point. I say he needs to work off his jab. Work from behind his jab, keep Michael Chandler at distance because I think Justin Gaethje has the better reach.
Oh yeah,
he has the more reach. As long as he keeps him at the end of the jab and chops down his legs before Michael Chandler chops his. Justin Gaethje really dominating that fight. If anything, start to finish, if it goes to the decision, gets the volume. Because Michael Chandler, I mean, aside from that, look, Michael Chandler is very durable.
Oh yeah.
So I think if I'm going to predictions now, here's my official prediction. I'm gonna have to agree with you, Jason.
Let's go.
I think Justin Gaethje gets it, if provided he's cool head, comes with the plan.
Yes.
I think Justin Gaethje just edges it out over Michael Chandler. I say round 3 TKO.
Okay.
After the Consulate chops, because Michael Chandler, because I know they both realize what this fight is.
Oh yeah.
This fight is basically determined who's the #1 contender. In the division.
Who's going next?
Who's going
champ?
exactly? Zhang Weili versus Rose Namajunas, and I think I'll go first this time.
Yeah.
Guys, I love both of these fighters so damn much, bro. You know, recency bias is a thing, right? And you know, it's easy to doubt Zhang Weili after, you know, that spectacular knockout that Rose delivered. I mean, Rose proved why she's a thug, bro. She'll kick you in the face and get you to steal your belt while you're out, bro. That's some thug shit right there, bro. Let's say, you know, if the fight kept on going without that kick, or Zhang Weili defended that kick properly, I think we would have a very different conversation about Zhang Weili versus Rose Namajunas. Zhang Weili is what we call a grappling extraordinaire. Volume. She can strike. Her wrestling, her jiu-jitsu, her takedown, her ground and pound, and her efficiency and her gas tank and stamina are something that are almost out of this world. Let's talk about her fight against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I butchered that name.
I just said Joanna.
I'll say Joanna. Joanna versus Zhang Weili. You saw how that fight went. Joanna turned into E.T.
She had a melon on her head.
Basically, she became a melon head after fighting against Zhang Weili, and for good reason, because Zhang Weili is powerful.
Yeah.
When she wants to get technical, she'll get technical. If we're talking about in terms of overall skill sets, both of these fighters are amazing, but Zhang Weili has that aggression, ferocity, ground and pound, stamina, and gas tank that really shows that what she was and could be champ again.
Oh yeah.
But then let's go to Thug Rose, baby. Thug freaking
Rose.
Thug Rose, bro. You know why she's a Rose? Because when she strikes, she gonna get hit with some thorns, guys.
For sure.
Holy shit, bro. Rose is what we call an expert striker in all sense, who's able to throughout her UFC round her skill set with ground and pound, grappling, jiu-jitsu. She's a road warrior. She really doesn't need to go 5 rounds, but I feel like as she's improved over the years, she could go 5 rounds if needed.
Oh yeah.
I mean, her wars against Joanna and Jessica. I mean, Jessica Andrade. That's where we see where Weili could potentially exploit something, because that that wrestling is something that, you know, Rose probably should be working on in camp, because we know that Zhang Weili's improved on her striking a lot probably in this camp. She's feeling a lot more motivated after getting decked in the face.
She cut her hair.
She cut her hair. Bro, after Rose cut her hair, she became an inhuman beast.
Exactly.
She became a thug. She lived up to the thug, and guess what? Oh my god, if I see a fighter with your dramatic hair or lifestyle change, you know they're about to bring all the fire to this match, alright? Weili's like, bro, I don't need to do my hair. I'm about to do these submission truths, baby. Cut all that hair. Oh my god, man. Zhang Weili doesn't lose. She's only had like 2 losses on the second one being in that surprise.
It was a decision.
Exactly. So being knocked out's not in her blood.
Exactly.
So I think that her motivation is just going to be pumped up even more. Rose is also in that same way, where even when she lost, she came back and just dominated after that. Jason, man, I gotta throw it to you, man. Give me your thoughts on this fight.
I mean, everything you've said is like facts. Like everything you've said, like this is kind of stuff that I'm also thinking at the same time. Weili, we know she's dominant. We know exactly, like you said, her striking is on. She's really good with her striking. And just to go back to her Joanna fight, that's where you really saw how good she is at countering. She's really good at countering, like really, really good. I was like, holy shit, she's good. And she hasn't, like you said, she hasn't lost like she hasn't gotten knocked out before until now.
Right.
So just to see like how dominant she is, and how, like you said, her grappling, we're really gonna see what she's gonna bring to the table this time. And Rose, she's the Rose. She's the Thug Rose for a reason. She's gonna be striking. She's gonna be throwing kicks. I'm expecting to see pretty much similar stuff to what she did before, and maybe some extra whatever, you know, stuff we haven't seen. I don't know. But I'm expecting to see kind of the same similar stuff. Rose has already went through some. She also lost against Jessica Andrade, she was a really good grappler. Right. So if Weili does something similar to how Jessica was fighting, Rose is gonna have a long night.
I think Weili's path to victory lies in the ground game potentially, because I mean, that being said, I'm not saying Zhang Weili can't strike.
Yeah.
She definitely can strike.
She can strike.
She can definitely strike. The night in the office with her, like you saw with Joanna, the countering.
Yeah.
The way she was leading off on the jab too, to like really stop Joanna's like plan to go off.
Yep.
Like, both of these fighters are well-rounded in all aspects. If Zhang Weili can get through the first 3 rounds, I really think championship rounds, we're going to see a Weili that we've been used to seeing before, dominant, absolute fashion. That's going to be insane.
Stamina, like her stamina is really good.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, this is going to be, I think this is going to be a high-level chess match. It's going to be either a spectacular knockout from either person or a chess match.
Yep.
An high-level, exciting chess match. I can go my prediction first.
Go ahead.
Yeah, like I said before, Zhang Weili's path to victory is, being very accurate with that jab, threatening other takedown submissions, but making sure that she doesn't overcommit to anything. Because when she overcommitted last time to that feint, that's when, Rose made her pay with that kick in round 1.
Yep.
Just a smarter Weili, if she can, minimize the damage in the first 3 rounds, be crisp in those 3 rounds, really utilize those leg kicks too. So that way she can work on setting up her ground game in 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
I think if Zhang Weili doesn't get knocked down the first 3, she will very well be very much successful in rounds 3, 4, and 5, where she can activate, she can do her grappling, do the wrestling to where the striking won't matter as much. Rose, she basically just has to redo the plan like last time. Catch Weili making mistakes, but at the same time, very keep those legs kick on bay. Keep that striking on bay and put more power into it too. Not to tire herself up, but more so to kind of discourage Weili from doing those wrestling attempts. She better have her takedown defense on point, because I know Weili's gonna throw everything she can and the kitchen sink to get that win. Do you know what I mean?
True.
So if I'm going off predictions, I'm gonna say Weili round 4, either submission or TKO. It's because I think Weili has the motivation and drive now to not be overtaken by the hype that is Rose. I think if Weili can stay committed to the plan, not be overzealous in the first 3 rounds, but work off her jab, chop at the legs. And threaten that takedown, so that way the whole. I mean, that being said, I'm not saying Rose is a slouch. She's a jiu-jitsu expert as well. But at the same time, being able to do the traditional wrestling and grappling, make moments for that, so that way you can minimize the damage you would from the striking and those knees. I really think that Zhang Weili has a path to victory. She may be the underdog, but I'm really gonna put my in for Zhang Weili. The reason why I want Weili to win is for that trilogy fight to happen, where that really is gonna be a toss-up.
I'm actually leaning towards Rose on this one.
Okay.
And I'll just kind of do kind of the similar thing what you said with the path to victory thing. So if Weili wants to win this fight, I think from what I've learned and what I know, I think the best way for her to win this fight is to keep distance. I mean, not keep distance. I mean, don't close the distance.
Right.
And also, cause like her range, like when you look at their
their height
wingspan, right?
Yeah.
I think Rose has a little bit more of an advantage on her.
Yeah, she's definitely the taller.
Taller, right?
Yeah,
so
more reach.
More reach. She has more reach. So when you see things like that, like you said, if she's too close, there's that jab. But if she's too far, there's the kick.
Right.
So if she needs to be on top with her defense, and like you said, she has to do takedowns. She's gonna have to do some grappling in here, I think, to get that victory.
Right.
Specifically, she needs to work on her defense in the kicks.
Right.
Because one thing I did realize is even in the Joanna fight, she actually got caught with a leg kick, like a kick in the face. It was like right at the end of the round, and like her coach carried her to the corner. So I was like, oh, okay, well, shit. She better really work on her defense for stuff like kicks in specific.
That's just like making sure you manage boxing distance. You know? If anything, like if the leg kicks are gonna be so detrimental, keep it at boxing range.
Yeah, exactly. So I think for her to win, she needs to keep the distance closer and not give her too much distance where Rose can land those kicks. Now for Rose, she already knows what she has to do. I feel like she just needs to, first of all, before anything, in the last fight, one thing I loved so much about what she did was the mental.
Yeah.
As she was walking into the building, as she's walking into the cage, what she was repeating was, I'm the best. I'm the best. So if she has that same mentality with the same, mental focus into the fight, we're landing the jabs, the leg kicks, the leg kicks mostly. That's what I'm like really focused on, because like to see head kick knockouts is the craziest thing to watch. So if she does more stuff like that, I think she's gonna win this fight. And like I said, my prediction is the Rose to win this fight. I'm gonna keep it third round. Okay. I'm gonna say third round. I want to predict a head kick again, but
by all means, this makes this fun.
I know. It could happen, yeah. But I'm just gonna say more just some kind of boxing TKO. That's what I'm expecting from Rose. So that's what I'm gonna predict, man.
Amazing, bro. Finally, guys.
This is the big boy fight, dude. The big welterweight fight. Oh my gosh,
guys, this is gonna be the most exciting main event I think in a long time.
Yes.
Colby Covington versus Kamal Usman 2. Say what you want about the the MAGA gimmick, all that.
The extra.
Y'all have your feelings about it. Go ahead. But after he started doing that gimmick, y'all started paying attention to him.
Y'all put more money in his account.
Yeah, y'all put money in his bank account. Y'all activated his cringe meter, gave him the tools he needed to become a star in the UFC.
Yep.
One of the greatest heels next to Conor McGregor in the UFC.
Yep.
But let's talk about his first fight with Kamal Usman.
Okay.
When they both met each other, that fight was probably one of the greatest matches I've ever seen.
Literally.
Both fighters, it was something I've never thought I would ever see in the UFC. As both fighters are hitting each other in the face, they keep hitting each other.
They're smiling at each other.
They're smiling at each other.
Keep going.
I've never seen... Bro, if there was a fight that reminded me of Dragon Ball Z of Goku versus Vegeta, them loving to fight against each other, it was that fight.
Yeah.
Body strikes that Kamal Usman threw to Kobe definitely hurt him most of those fights.
Yes.
But despite that, he kept going. Third round, Colby Covington jaw gets broken, and 2 more rounds he keeps on fighting.
Yes.
To the point where on the scorecards it looked like Colby Covington was winning that fight.
Exactly.
Had not that stoppage, had not Kamaru used that power right hand to knock down Colby twice in the fourth round. Fifth round. Yeah. Fifth round, and then get the good stoppage that he did with the ground and pound and strikes to the head. We see both these fighters move on after that. Let's talk Colby Covington versus Ty Woodley, a former welterweight champ. The dominance that Colby brought against a former champ, Ty Woodley, to the point where got him on the ground, cracked his rib, popped his rib, got the early stoppage.
When I was watching that fight, I really didn't know what was gonna happen, but when I saw like Colby already going for the takedowns, I was like, okay, well Colby's gonna probably gonna win this fight.
Exactly. Then let's talk Kamal Usman. Let's talk that first fight. A lot of the things I said about Colby apply to Kamaru.
Yep.
And at the time he fought Kamaru, he wasn't the best striker either. He had a lot of power. He had the power, the durability, and the wrestling on the side. But what was great about this fight is, Dana White always says styles make fights. Both of these guys are wrestlers, and they kept it on the feet. Delivered one of the best matches I've ever seen. Right? We actually get to see the growth of both of these fighters.
Yes.
After, we saw that war that they both went and fought each other with. Kamaru even said he's a lot to improve on. Then we get his next fight right after, which is against Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah.
A lot of controversy.
Was the first one, right?
It was the first one. A lot of controversy around that fight. Kamaru Usman's so good that no matter what plan he has, you have against him, he's just gonna say, "Okay, good plan." But it don't matter. If you want to box Kamaru Usman, he's gonna wrestle you.
Yeah.
If you want to wrestle Kamaru Usman, he's gonna strike you.
Yeah.
That's exactly. You played by his rules. This was great about Kamaru Usman. He was in trouble that first round against Gilbert Burns. There was Gilbert Burns had the power, the ferocity on his side. Was able to get Kamaru Usman a couple times that made me even think, oh my god, the champ might lose it.
Yeah, I know.
But then comes back out, basically changes the rounds, works off his jab in the second and third round, and then capitalizes in the third round. Was able to use that power jab to basically ground Burns, and then just
ground and pound and
dominate the fight and just get to the point where it was a TKO stoppage for Burns. And my goodness. And then we get to Jorge Masvidal, where he shocks the world, certifies himself as one of the greatest to ever do it by basically knocking out one of the best strikers in the welterweight division. Jorge Masvidal showed some good wrestling to get to the cage, some training that he did.
He did,
But all for him to really worry about that takedown and exploit that opening where, Kamal Usman cleared his hands, threw that right down the pipe, and sent, Jorge to the shadow realm. He sent him to the shadow realm.
Oh my! Like you've mentioned, Colby Covington. He is the gas tank of a man. He has a. I don't know why I said gas tank of a man. I meant to say
he's the definition of of cardio beast.
Cardio beast, yeah, a gas tank. He has so much cardio. It's like I'm just like, dude, how is this guy still fighting? From watching like his Tyron Woodley fight, even some of his fights before that, like he fought Damian Maia, Rafael Dos Anjos. Dos Nachos, if you're Colby Covington. He fought Robbie Lawler. You know, he fought high caliber welterweights already. Just from those fights, you know, he was very dominant with his cardio and just his gas tank, being able to outperform. Like even the Robbie Lawler fight, he threw a lot more strikes than Robbie Lawler did. I think it was like I wrote this down. It was like 179 to 78. So that's insane to see from Colby Covington. And then Kamaru Usman. He's a beast. He's the pound for pound one of the greatest fighters out there for facts. And the reason for that is because he's a dominant wrestler, dominant striker, dominant takedowns, everything. He's a very well-rounded, really well-rounded fighter. And just to see like what he's already done with the high caliber fighters he's fought, like just defending his belt, it's insane. He's fought, like you said, Jorge Masvidal twice, Gilbert Burns. He's also fought Tyron Woodley. He's fought in all the main level guys.
Yeah, he won his belt fighting Tyron.
And Tyron Woodley, yeah, and he's already fought Colby Covington and broke his jaw. Just to see this fight again is gonna be insane, because we know what both of these fighters are capable of. It's now time to see what they're gonna be able to do in this cage.
Well, I guess it's time for predictions, bro. This is hard, man.
It really is.
And this is honestly a toss-up, but just for the sake of giving you prediction, this could be. Kamaru Usman can prove that he can take you out in earlier rounds, or he can take you all the way to deep waters in the 5th round. But so can Colby Covington. So for my prediction, though, I'm gonna have to keep it with the champ. I'm gonna go Kamaru Usman. And honestly, I think Kamaru Usman now has a chip on his shoulder just because of the dominant performance that he has, the disrespect that he's had to take up to that point. He's only getting now. He really wants to solidify himself as one of the most dominant champions and one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah.
I really think, I'm going to say, bro, he was able to knock out Jorge Masvidal, which only time he's ever even been TKO'd or KO'd was a submission so early in his career. Such an insane, level of caliber to do that. It shouldn't go unnoticed, which is why I'm saying Kamaru Usman is going to... It's going to be a war, but I'm predicting a round 4 TKO or KO.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a striking match again. I think Colby Covington may have a plan. Work to the body, chop the legs, but it won't matter because Kamaru Usman is going to force you to play his game plan. He's only gotten better under Trevor Whitman. His striking is going to be on point. At this point, it's going to prove how good of a strike he's going to be against Colby Covington, and everything else is just extra at this point. So.
That's a very good prediction, man. I'm going to agree with you on this one because of just how dominant Kamaru Usman is as a fighter. And if I'm being honest, honest, I would want to see Colby Covington win only just to see how crazy the world would go just from him being the champ. Just to see that reaction
it would automatically launch a trilogy fight.
I know. I would want to see that again though. But since we make our predictions basing off of if we were to put money on it. So if I were going to put money on it, I'm going Kamaru Usman on this fight. All he has to do is literally everything he's done already. Just stay dominant on the striking. If there is takedowns, he has good defense. He's really good at grappling too. So just keep that grappling defense. The only way I could even see maybe Colby Covington doing some good stuff is somehow getting a takedown, which I don't really see, but it's possible, right? It's a fight.
Right.
So if he gets some kind of takedown and keeps him on the ground and has top control a lot, that's a way he could win. Another way is just from volume fighting. If for some reason one of the after too much volume, one of them rocks Kamaru Usman, he could win like that too. But Kamaru Usman is a champ for a reason. He's fought so much already. Another thing that I do have to mention is Colby Covington hasn't fought as much as Kamaru Usman has since their first bout.
Right.
So there's also that, like the experience level of fighting high caliber fighters. I mean, Colby Covington has fought high caliber fighters, but not as good as Kamaru Usman, I would say.
I mean, they may have the same caliber opponents, but let's talk about the after. Like, if anything, I agree with you because, like, who's the more active fighter?
Yeah, Kamaru
Usman's already a way more active champion than most.
He's fought, like, high caliber people.
Right.
So, and like you said, he knocked out Jorge Masvidal, which was the craziest surprise I've ever seen. Because I remember I was watching that fight. I wanted Jorge Masvidal to win that fight.
I did too.
And when I saw that, my soul dropped. I was like, what the hell just
basically it was just like as soon as Jorge Masvidal knocked out, I was like, oh.
Yeah, so now we know Kamaru.
Like, so this is our king.
We've seen him knock out Jorge Masvidal. We've seen him knock out Gilbert Burns. So he's fought like the top level guys, you know. So just to see that, it's gonna be really hard for Colby to really win this fight, and that's why he's the underdog for a reason. So, like I said,
it's not even so much win; it's more so like that's the thing. Is what's hardest about me to make my prediction for the KOs though. Like when we saw the wars they can get into.
Exactly.
Like, Colby is sharp as well.
Yeah, he's sharp.
When we fought the first time against Kamaru, granted his striking wasn't as good as it is now, but it wasn't a joke either.
No, it wasn't.
You saw perfect boxing defense from Colby when he first fought Kamaru.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a lot that is gonna go into this fight. But dude, like, yeah, you heard our predictions, guys. We both think Kamaru Usman's gonna win, but.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
It will be interesting because even if we're wrong, it's gonna be amazing to see how wrong we are, how crazy this fight's gonna be. Honestly, part of me hopes that Colby does win, so we get an actual epic trilogy.
Oh, for sure.
And even then, like, because if Kamaru, the other thing is also we're gonna head to the point now where like it's a Khabib situation.
Yeah.
Kamaru Usman is such a dominant champion that at this point it's gonna be like a man news. They're just gonna throw people to the wolves at him at this point.
Yep.
It's just gonna be a performance of how dominant is Kamaru Usman now.
Yep.
But I think the only person that can really has a chance of stopping Kamaru Usman was Colby Covington. UFC 268 is going to be one of the most exciting cards we've ever seen. My God, the Human Highlight versus Iron Mike, Thug Rose versus one of the most scariest martial artists in Weili, and top it off, basically to decide probably one of the welterweight goats certified is going to be made that night. Kamaru Usman, the Nightmare, versus Colby Chaos Covington. That's insane. What's scarier, Chaos or the Nightmare? You're gonna have to decide. Man. you're gonna have to decide, guys. Thank you guys for watching our predictions, our breakdown, and how we think this fight's gonna go. Stay tuned for more content, guys. Our reaction is going to be following up for this card as well, so stay tuned for that. We also have more Never Bored with Naruto coming your way as well. So if you love some anime, love seeing hype boys react to hype Naruto, check out that stuff too. Like this video if you liked our predictions, our thoughts. Subscribe if you want more. Give a comment if you guys have a different prediction. If we're wrong about something, you guys are real vocal about when we're wrong about shit. So you might as well comment below what you disagree with, what their path to victories are. Guys, thank you for watching another segment of Never Bored with MMA. I'm your host, George. I'm joined with my other host here,
Jason.
And thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more Never Bored with Naruto, Never Bored with MMA, and also just Never Bored with George as a whole. Thank you guys for watching. You guys have a good day. Peace.